What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Tiege pack. Tiege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tiege Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tiege Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tiege pack. Feel the Tiege, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. This is the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Let me first give a shout out to JT Coin Rings is in the building. Says good morning, Anton, in the chat. Good morning, JT. And thank you for being the first super chatter today. You are very much appreciated. Listen, it is February 20th, 2023, year of our Lord. And that means two things, right? The first thing is, and again, thank you, JT Coin Rings. I will be reading super chats throughout the show. Thank you for supporting the platform. It means that we're one day removed from Rita's birthday. 41 looks good on you, honey. You want to give him a little snapshot of what you look like? Here, let's do it like this. There's Rita. All right. So 41 looks good on Rita. We like that. We like our ladies to age beautifully. And largely it's because they live in a stress-free life. All right. So shout out to Rita. That's A. B, I want to give a special shout out to my daughter. Shout out to my baby, my daughter, Leslie Ann Daniels. You are one of the biggest motivating factors for how I went about doing things, being about my business, really gathering myself at the when I was at my lowest, when I was at my bottom, and it was in the middle of the 2008 recession. And it was February 20th, 2008 when you were born. And I was the first person to hold you, and I was holding you in my hands, and I was looking out over outside of the window in a hospital room. And I said, you know what? You will never need or want for anything, and you will never know what it feels like to not have food in your belly, a home to live at, phenomenal, loving two-parent home, and the structure that you need in order to go about being successful as a young lady. You will always have every single thing you need to be successful. So happy 15th birthday to my awesome, beautiful, loving black daughter, awesome, beautiful, loving black wife. Happy 41st birthday. You guys are my heart. Okay, so I'm dedicating this show. Well, maybe I shouldn't dedicate this show to you because it's called Layoffs. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I shouldn't dedicate this show to y'all because it's called Layoffs. But we are here in Orlando. As a result, you see, we was in a jacuzzi all last night. We was in a jacuzzi the day before. We was in the jacuzzi the day before. That is our view. We are overlooking the other homes that are below us. We are in Orlando. We've been in Orlando since late last week. And we appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with us. But one thing is for sure, and two things is for certain, is that we don't stop just because we are out of town. All right? I told Leslie, I said, listen, Mama's about to take you out. Y'all go out to breakfast, do whatever y'all got to do. But Anton from AntonDaniels.com, we don't miss. Shout out to Q. Q said yes to Rita. Loving the color on you. She said she loved the color on you, Rita. Thank you. Look at that queen with her Rolex on and all of her diamond bracelets and diamond earrings and everything like that with that sweet spirit. Ladies, you can get anything you want as long as you go about doing things the right way. Let me say that. So shout out to Q. She says, happy B-Day, Les. Go get another hoodie. What up, Anton? Next vacation is where? Well, Q, I'm going to have to tell you that separately because it's going to be me, you, Rita, and Leslie. That's all we need right now in the Bag Chasers, all right? So we're going to do the meetup pretty soon. We're going to kick it. We're going to rock out. I appreciate y'all. Also, shout out to Jesus. What is Mike Jones? Who? Mike Jones is in the building with the 100 ball. He says, happy birthday, Rita and Leslie. Shout out to Mike Jones is in the building. We appreciate you, Mike Jones, for continuing to rock out with us. You are officially the sponsor of the show, holding us down with all of this birthday love. Mike Jones is in the building. Hold on, let me take a pause. I'm going to let Mike Jones sit up there for a minute because he is very much appreciated. And although I will go through and I will read all of the super chats throughout the show, just to make sure that I acknowledge you guys. I don't care if you give $1. I don't care if you give $500. Although Mike Jones gave $100, and we appreciate Mike because Mike been holding us down here, the Lapeef Network, everywhere. I just want to make sure that y'all know that I appreciate every single like, dislike, subscription, super chat, all throughout the show. So you guys are absolutely awesome. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Rita is saying thank you. You guys are absolutely awesome. So thank you, Mike. And before I get to the rest of the super chats, let me do a little bit of housekeeping, right? So make sure that you guys tap into the Patreon, all right? As soon as I get back into the studio, which I will be flying back this week, as soon as I get back into the studio, I am dropping an exclusive. First, I'm going to drop a Patreon exclusive video that gives y'all more insight and information on credit. I'm going to break down the whole credit game for y'all, so that's A. And then B, we're going to drop the Crimson Cure full interview in its entirety where Crimson sits down with me. I know a lot of y'all love Crimson. That is our home girl where Crimson sits down with me and we go through and we mine out a lot of the different conversations that we need to be doing from within the Black community. She breaks down her whole history, her beginning, how she transitioned over from Christianity over into being a Muslim. And we had that discussion, like we deep dive. Y'all know what we do over at the Back Chasers. So that's only going to be exclusively uncensored inside of the Patreon, including all of the other content, right? So if you need to know how to invest properly from the stock market, the 8 things that I look for when I'm investing in a property, if you need to understand how to manage a 401k and the difference between a Roth and a Roth 401k and how it is that you don't need to max out by the end of the year, or you need to max out by the end of the year, but you want to do it a specific way. If you want to learn how to build up your business, if you want to understand how to budget more appropriately, if you want to know how to look at things from a business perspective when it comes to vetting out different business ideas, if you want to understand things from a mastermind perspective, if you want to make sure that you're making as much money as possible from social media, we talk about these things as well as build a community of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, shout out to the Alpha Juice Company for continuing to hold us down. We appreciate you, Alpha Juice. I am continuing to take the journey. Q will tell you that over the weekend, I'm sitting there up on a panel for Fight Club with no shirt on. And the more that I do, and the fitter I become and the sexier I get, the more I'm going to be naked on my live stream. So don't be surprised if sometime in the summer you see me doing a live stream sitting poolside with no shirt on. I'm warning you now. It's just coming with the game. It is what it is. Shout out to everybody that understand what it is. Anton is going to be Anton, all right? So shout out to the Alpha Juice Company. Do not order your Alpha Juice by clicking the link in the description without putting the discount code in, because it is important for you to get as much money off. And we want to let them know that Anton is the one that sent you, all right? So make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company. I will be reading Super Chats out throughout the show, so I appreciate y'all for holding us down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But before we get into the Super Chats, I got a full show for y'all. So you already know we got a different format, right? The format that we're going to rock with going forward is I'm going to break down different things from my perspective. I want to have the conversation, but at the end of the show, or towards the end of the show, I'm going to open up the link for you to be able to cam up and have a conversation with me. I want you to be able to tell me what you disagree with, what you agree with. If you just want to give a comment or you got a question for me, feel free to do so. Make sure you have good lighting. I am going to pull people up. And so I'm giving you the game right now, and that if you want to participate in a conversation with me, make sure that you cam up. Make sure that you're prepared. Take off your bonnet. Take off your do-rags. We are going to have that conversation by the end of the show. All right, so let's get into the show. I am going to be reading Super Chats throughout the show because I love you guys, and I appreciate you, and I absolutely appreciate the Alpha Juice Company for holding us down. So let's go ahead and get straight into the show. Before we get started, I want to give you guys an update on what it's costing me here at Disney. I did drop a few videos over the weekend because I like to keep you guys in tune with what's going on here. But I want to give you guys a little bit of insight on what it is that I'm spending here in Disney. And I'm going to tell you why, right? First and foremost, if you've been tapped in since Friday was when I flew in. I'm still here in Orlando. Shout out to Jeremiah. Shout out to everybody that I met at the park. Shout out to the people that I ran into at CVS. You guys are awesome. Y'all said, yo, Anton, I'm rocking with you. I appreciate you. Every single person that I run into in life, I am a real person. Say what up, though. Don't just be acting all scared. I think that's Anton. Then I got to turn around and call you out. What up, though? What's happening, fam? Don't be acting shy. And then y'all want to. Then we gonna have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that says something at Universal, that says something at Disney, at all of the different parks. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and rocking with the shows. All right. In addition to that, I'm gonna give you a running total in a general sense. Honey, how much were the Disney tickets? Because we went to Universal on Saturday, and then we went to Universal on Sunday. And we went to Disney on Saturday. If you had to guess, for all of us. So $750 initially. Just the Disney tickets on Saturday, right? $750. But let's rewind for a little bit, all right, guys? The flights here were about $5,000. No, they were more than that. But you can save a little money on that. So I'm going to be absolutely transparent because my first class ticket alone was $1,800 and change, almost $1,900. Rita's first class ticket obviously was the same. The two girls, they did not ride first class because there were no more seats. There was only 2 left. So they fine. They big. But their tickets was like almost $1,000 a piece alone. If think about it, right? That's actually more than that. You got 3,600, probably 3,700 when you do it like, when you really understand it. 47, 57. So my tickets just to fly here was $5,700. That's just the round trip tickets. Flew Delta. All of the tickets is high right now. I don't know what it is that's causing the tickets to be high. I know that one of the things is that there's a lot of families, and when you have vacations, or you do spring breaks, or you do winter breaks, or you do a holiday for a long weekend or whatever, and all of the families go, then things tend to be higher, significantly higher. But here's the thing. Even if it was we just get regular main cabin seats, it would have cost $1,000 a person. So let's reduce the cost from $6,000 almost to $4,000, right? And then let's just say hypothetically that you really found some really decent tickets. You booked way ahead of time or whatever, so on and so forth. You flew in on a Tuesday and all of that other type of stuff that y'all like to do for your travel hacks and everything. Let's just say, for example, that you reduced it down to $3,000 for a family of 4, which is the equivalent of $750 per person, just to catch a flight to the airport. Just to catch a flight to the airport, right? I paid the equivalent of about $6,000 for my family. But let's just say, for example, you can reduce that in half and you can get to $3,000, okay? We're not really taking into account what it cost us in order to do so. A lot of people don't get paid for their day off. Some of you do in corporate America, but there's a lot of people that if you don't work, you don't eat, especially if you have your own business. What I've noticed with Asian people that own their own restaurant, they go out of town one time a year. It usually be for about 2 or 3 weeks. They go and visit their mainland China or whatever, so on and so forth. And then that's it. The rest of the year, they work. But they've planned for that way out because they know that there will be no revenue coming in at that time. Most people that have their own business, they work their business because it really does not make sense from a financial perspective, and they can't justify the cost that goes along with hiring help. Hear me out. I'm breaking this down to you. I'm helping you to understand something. If you don't work for a lot of people that have a business, so also add that in as a factor, you don't eat. So your true cost of traveling or taking your family somewhere is also the cost that it takes in order for you to not make money in order to go and do that thing. Q gives me a hard time all the time, and she says, Anton, you need to take off, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm like, Q, well, I don't miss. So she says, why are you always working even when you're on a vacation and stuff like that? Well, Q, it's things that need to run, people that's dependent on me, businesses that need to be taken care of. We got projects happening in corporate America and so on and so forth. And we don't get to operate like we in the union. We don't operate based off of that. Your performance is largely based off of what you're generating and what you're putting into the business. And so even though you may get a bunch of vacation time and it's nothing that's really stopping you and you're working from home, you still have to produce. And so take into consideration for a lot of y'all, add as a caveat, what it's really costing you if you decide that you don't want to go to work or you own your own business and you want to take off a week and you want to spend time with your family over on vacation, right? Because that's a lot of money. Every single day that you're there, that's a day that you're not making money. But let's remove that as a part of the equation. Let's use that 3,000 to 4,000 number just to fly in, right? Then you got airport parking. Then you got gas. Obviously, we're not taking into consideration what it is that you're dealing with when it comes to people not even being able to go to work or something like that, right? Let's factor it in. A lot of y'all like to cheap out, but I don't. But you got to get a rental car as soon as you get here. So as soon as you get here, you got to get a rental car. Let's just say, for example, you're going to spend $300 total. We're not including tolls. We're not including gas to be able to gas it back up or anything like that. Got to put gas, got to put fuel back into it. For real. As soon as you land, your family is hungry. As soon as you get to the airport, you want to get snacks, water, all of that other type of stuff. And then you got to get here, right? So you got a choice to make between your Airbnb or a hotel room. If you want to stay at a Disney property, you want to stay at the Hard Rock Hotel. They've also factored into it the idea that everybody is coming at a specific time, so they know when to raise prices and when to lower prices based off of the demand that's in the area, right? But for me specifically, and I have a really dope Airbnb, and I'll give y'all a little bit of a preview. It's pretty dope all around, you know. I got 5 bedrooms in here, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. We got the pool with the jacuzzi. We got the master bedroom. We got a really nice kitchen. The kitchen is dope, you know. Awesome. I have no problem sharing with you guys all of it, but I spent about $3,000. About $3,000. Including in that is like a $300 cleaning fee. They rob you on that. You know what I'm saying? The taxes and everything. But total, you're going to spend about $3,000 just for an Airbnb. Now, I could have went and got a hotel room, right? In which the hotel room in which we would have had to get at least 2 hotel rooms, or we would have had to do a suite, would have been the equivalent or more. Trust me, I know. I'm a Marriott member. I'm also a Hilton member. I know all about it. I travel a lot. So on and so forth. Most of y'all don't get the points. Most of y'all don't get that Amex credit or anything like that. However, again, $3,000. So my cost, 6 plus 3 equals 9. And that has nothing to do with anything as far as rental cars or anything like that. That's just purely off of booking the hotel or booking the Airbnb and flights. So I'm 9,000 in the hole before I ever even leave the crib. For most people, let's just say, for example, you got a bigger family or a family of 4, you're in a worse position, right? Because let's go ahead and cut that in half, and then let's add in the Airbnb, because there's no way you can avoid not staying with somebody or not staying somewhere. So you already at 6,000. I'm at 9, you at 6. I'm using my experiences in order to really parse through what it's going to cost you as a middle-class person just to take your family on vacation for a little less than a week. You're losing money at work. You're scared you're going to get laid off when you get back simply because they got performance reviews, and the tech companies is all laying off because you're in the middle of a recession. You booked early, so you saved a little bit of money. So you at 6,000, I'm at 9, right? Then you got to get the rental car, $300. Then you got to get food, parks, Universal Studios. It cost us $1,000 total. We got the $150 per person, which included $600. Plus we paid an additional $250 per person. Actually, it was more than that, $400 per person. So I paid $1,600 total to go to Universal Studios for one day. They had Willow Smith out there. I bring my hair back and forth. I ain't care nothing about my hair back and forth. But they had Willow Smith performing they got Sean Paul coming up and all of that. Done it right. I don't know nothing about that. But my point is that in all of these places, it's going to cost you money. Now, it could have only cost me $600 just to come in. Then I would have had to wait an hour and a half to 2 hours per ride. But it literally only took me on average about 10 to 15 minutes per ride, and we rode everything in the entire park, right? So that's an additional $1,600 on top of the $9,000. So now we at $10,006. Actually, let's just say $11,000 when you throw in the rental car and the gas and all that. Let's say $11,000 just total, just for Universal. Then you got to factor in Disney, because then we spent money on merch. My daughter wanted a hoodie. They wanted some memorabilia. We all got ears. I got this stupid hat that I was wearing. This hat was $40 alone. Then my daughter was like, hey, Dad, I want to get all of the wristbands, right? Let's get the wristbands so that we don't have to use the card and we could just scan our wristbands. Well, that was $45 per wristband. And then you got 4, so that's $180 total. You see how it starts to add up? Now, you can be that parent that's like, well, no. We can't afford it. Who wants to go on vacation penny pinching? The whole idea behind what it is that we do, maybe it's just from a man's perspective, but the whole idea behind what it is that we do is that we want to really be able to allow our family to have the experiences that they want to have without restriction. And so you grind, you hustle, you go and get it. You make sure that everything is ideal because, for example, it's my family's birthday. Rita's birthday is the 19th. Leslie's birthday is the 22nd. I got cakes. I got gifts and all of this other type of stuff. I want them to have the best experiences now. I'm going to stop there, right? I'm going to stop there just for the people in the back. Because some people said, Anton, that's cap. You ain't spend no $15,000. You ain't spend no $10,000 plus, whatever, so on and so forth. Let me help you to understand something. It's very easy to be able to run up a $15,000 tab with my lifestyle. For a regular person, you're going to come close to $10,000 just to be able to take a family of 4. I got my daughter, I got my niece with her, so on and so forth. You're going to run up a tab easily of close to $10,000 when you decide that you wanted to take your family on vacation or you want to go about doing things a certain type of way. The question that you have to ask yourself, and the reason that I'm having this conversation is because I want you to really parse through and try to understand or try to ask yourself what it really takes to be middle class in 2023 and beyond. Because the costs are not going down. The cost for theme parks, the cost for plane tickets, the cost for gas, the cost for rental cars, the cost for Airbnbs, the cost for you to be able to do whatever it is that you need to do on a daily basis, the cost for you to not go to work in order to be able to take your family out, clothes, watches, bills are still due. You still got to pay your rent at home. Tuition is not going down. It's going higher. You've never seen a university lower tuition year over year in order for you to be able to be more affordable, have more affordable college. You still got to eat. The cost of food, unless you want to come on vacation and cook like you at home. Who goes on vacation in order to cook and clean just like they at home? If it's more work for you to go on vacation than it is for you to be home, then that's not a vacation. That's called work. I don't want to work on vacation. So we don't cook. We order. We have the food delivered, all of that other type of stuff. Rita and them, as soon as they got here, I had to go and take care of some business. So they went and got their nails done and all of that. It's very, very, very easy to run up a $15,000 tab. Now, also factor in that a lot of y'all say, well, Anton, you can live good on $47,000 a year. Bull. Nonsense. Now you telling me that I've already spent 33% of what it is that you make per year and you ain't even got your taxes taken out of your check yet. That's why y'all out here scamming. That's why y'all out here trying to get more in your tax return for money that's yours that you lent to the federal government in order for them to send it back to you. I want you to start thinking, and this is not a stunt on the middle class, right? Because I very much consider myself a regular guy. But I want you to start thinking more from a business perspective as far as how it is that you understand how money works, how it is that we operate within society, where things are going to go. Because remember, 10 years from now, the prices that we pay today is going to look phenomenal. The prices that we pay today are going to look awesome 10 years from now. Inflation is at an all-time high. Even though they're continuing to raise the rates in order to try to tamp down inflation, it's at an all-time high. The cost of doing business is at an all-time high. The cost of travel is at an all-time high. The cost for housing is at an all-time high. If you are not solving for a problem, if you are not becoming a better version of yourself, understanding that the money come with it, if you're not a part of the Bag Chasers, shout out to my Patreon members, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat, then you will be in survival mode until the day that you die. And if you're telling me that that sounds appealing, then this is not the place for you over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. This is not the Thousandaire Morning Show. This is the Millionaire Morning Show. This is not the Thousandaire Morning Show. This is the Millionaire Morning Show. If survival and then hoping that the federal government secures enough revenue and that they don't go into debt to where the dollar collapses and you don't have anything to leverage against as far as fiat currency because you don't own any assets. Because contrary to popular belief, let me help you to understand something. The real estate that I own, and one of the reasons why I leverage the majority of my portfolio in the real estate, is because no matter what the dollar does, no matter what Bitcoin does, no matter what cryptocurrency does, no matter what stable coins do, no matter what happens in society, whatever it is, it has to be comparable against real estate, because no matter what you do, you're always going to need a place to live. No matter what, you're always going to need a place to live. If survival for the rest of your life, hoping that they fund Social Security so that you can depend on the federal government and then Medicaid in order to make sure that your health care coverage and that you don't go die by the time that you're 59 before you even get to retirement age at 69 and a half, if that sounds appealing to you, then you need to go and find the Thousandaire Morning Show. We don't speak in duress over here. We're teaching people how to operate in abundance. There's plenty of shows for you to go out there and for them to teach you how to be a regular individual. I am not going to try to fill that void. It is plenty of people that is teaching you how to be average or below average or trying to be solidly middle class, even though the middle class is going away. I'm going to continue to harp on, and have a conversation about how it is that you need to be operating in abundance, why you need to be investing in yourself, why you need to be leveraging your assets, why you need to be leveraging your cash in order to purchase more assets so that you can then get yourself out of the rat race and stop having to work for the next 50 years just to be able to breathe. They're going to charge you for air. Trust me. They've already started charging you for water a long time ago. They already started charging you for water. Infrastructure, failing. You can't live anywhere near a major city, and you can't even live in the suburbs. You're going to have to move to Bumblefuck USA in order for you to even be able to breathe. And then meanwhile, we'll be still living in abundance because we'll be beating the rate of inflation, continuing to buy assets that appreciate over time, and winning in every aspect of life. Join the Bag Chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so let me get to some of these super chats, and then we're going to deep dive into the show. Shout out to Brock. Brock said, happy birthday, Les. Happy birthday, Rita. Wish you ladies many more. Thank you, Brock, for holding us down and making sure that you take care of us. I appreciate you. Alvin S. says, happy and blessed birthday to Rita and Leslie. Thank you, Alvin. We appreciate you for holding us down. Jackie Durham says, happy birthday, Rita and Leslie. Thank you, Jackie. We rock with you. And she threw up the emojis. Thank you, Jackie. We appreciate you. D Got Sauce said thank you. Thank you, D Got Sauce. We appreciate you for the 10 ball. It does not go unnoticed. Also, Dakota's Jenkins says, what's your thoughts on a drop shipping business? If y'all want me to talk about drop shipping, I can break that down in one of the episodes this week. Let me write that down. Give me a second. I'll put it down in my notes. If y'all want me to talk about drop shipping, I'll let y'all know. I got you. All right. So I could talk about drop shipping. I think that drop shipping is okay. I think that once you start getting in a general sense, drop shipping is okay. But once you start getting to a certain level, I think you have to start reining in the cost, because drop shipping is supposed to be an easy business, in which it allows for you to really be on the front end and marketing and finding your customers, and then they do the rest. You give so much away in profits once you start to deep dive into it from a drop shipping perspective. So I like to do all money in. I think it's an okay business. I think you need to mine out what it is that you drop shipping, and we need more context in order to really get some understanding. Most people drop ship, they start their own clothing line and they do drop shipping. I don't like that. I like to actually touch it. I like to actually better understand what it is that I'm dealing with. I do everything in-house more. And so we kind of do our own thing, and we build up our own production companies, and we do everything in-house. So when I drop my merch line within the next 2 months, you'll see. It's going to be the top quality, top of the line. All right, so let's continue. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Class E Beats, my dog. Says, happy money day to AD and the Bag Chaser. Shout out to the Patreon members. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. You know what to do for the Alpha Juice Company. Hey, Class E, I appreciate you, big dog. And you got some great content over there, too. I appreciate you. All right, so let's get into the deep part of the show. All right? I wanted to get into it. Diversity and inclusion. I warned you. Let me pull my microphone a little bit closer. I warned you. All of my diversity and inclusion teams, I warned you. I told you. What did I tell you? I told you. I said, listen, stay away from the basket weaving degrees. Stay away from the things that's actually not going to generate as much revenue as you think it is. Stay away from the thing that does not provide you the stability, or if you was to get laid off, we don't have to start depending on all of these groups in order to try to get you another job, baby girl. Diversity and inclusion teams, let me tell you something. They are catching L's more than the masseuses. You know how Google laid off like 31 masseuses? The diversity and inclusion team is catching hell because the companies is realizing that they're not actually providing any real return on value. They're not really providing any return. They just in there whistleblowing, making people uncomfortable, being cultural nuisances, making people hate them, walking around in the Victim Olympics. But let me just tell you, the diversity and inclusion team, thank you, Tap In Productions. I will be reading. I'm going to read y'all super chats throughout the show. The diversity and inclusion team. I want to share with y'all a video in which they start to talk about exactly how black people are being affected by what's going on with the tech layoffs. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. CNBC did a breakdown, and they had a panel, or they had a conversation with multiple different people in which they talked about specifically how the impact of layoffs is going to affect black people. Let's deep dive into it, ladies and gentlemen.
We're sitting here 3 years nearly after the murder of George Floyd, a time when many companies in response pledged over $50 billion to address diversity and racial equity issues. How is that going? What have the diversity pledges actually encouraged these companies to do? Shelley joins us now to talk a little bit about that.
Sharon, thank you for having me and for covering this.
We are seeing relatively low unemployment, but we're also seeing headline-grabbing numbers of some massive layoffs, particularly in tech, at some major tech companies, but other major companies as well. And I'm wondering how these layoffs are impacting Black workers and are impacting the diversity, equity, inclusion efforts that some of these companies have put forth.
It is.
Before he gets into this, there is an abbreviated saying for diversity, equity, and inclusion. They call it the DEI. The DEI is the diversity. It's not die misspelled. It should be, but it's usually called DEI, and it's called diversity, equity, and inclusion teams. And usually what it means is we want to get more women in. We want to get people that doesn't really qualify for any particular job, but we want to be able to say that they're a part of the team. And so they create these mythical positions that don't necessarily mean anything, and then they do all of these stupid training modules that don't really add any value or to the bottom line of what the companies is talking about. And so a lot of these donations, what a lot of people don't understand, came from pacifying a lot of these different groups that did not have your best interests at heart anyway, such as Black Lives Matters. But let's continue.
Certainly a challenging period that we're entering. I mean, you're seeing the layoffs get announced, not only in tech, but you're seeing it across sectors. I am concerned that as we go into any sort of a downturn or softness, that some of the work around diversity, equity, and inclusion and certain populations will be hit disproportionately. And I'm worried because that's historically been what has materialized. The interesting thing about tech, for better or for worse, is it will certainly impact Black workers. But one of the things that I've been most concerned about with respect to the job market in Black Americans is we have been underrepresented in tech historically, which is not a good thing, but it may mean that in tech, maybe Black Americans won't be hit disproportionately, TBD, but I think the underrepresentation there is the more important theme. And how do we ensure that in this down cycle that we are still thinking about ways to increase representation as we think about emerging from this thing on the other side?
I want me to tell y'all how y'all can increase representation? I got a very, very simple. Listen, we don't need a whole lot of conversations about it. We don't have to go on Clubhouse. We don't have to protest. Like, you can save all of that energy and actually put it into becoming successful, right? And the way that you do it, let me help you. I'm gonna really, really solve for this problem before we even have an issue at all. The way that you do it is A, you have to go and get a degree that actually matters. B, cut your hair. Listen, this is an uncomfortable conversation that I got to have with y'all. It's an uncomfortable conversation. You got to go and get a degree in an area that really matters. And let me say this also before I give you a tip on how it is that you can better represent yourself within these companies. Because I don't care. I'm going to say what I really think. Just because you work for a tech company does not mean that you're a tech worker. Okay, let me say that one more time. Just because you're working for a tech company doesn't mean that you're a tech worker. On the flip side, one of the things that I push my bag chasers to do is also take into consideration companies outside of tech that you can then leverage what you know to get a position in these companies that are a traditional company. So, for example, I've largely leaned into banking. My bread and butter is user experience within the banking environment, which is why I know so much about how banks operate and where their profit margins come from and where they start to hire and how it is that they leverage certain resources in order to extract the most money from you specifically. It's the reason why I'm so heavy into mortgages, because I understand the value that they provide when you don't actually service the loan. Join the Bag Chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you need a personal coaching call with me, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. I am an expert in what it is that I do. Okay? And I push my bag chasers to go into industries that's not necessarily the big name, because you can make way more money by leveraging a skill set in a traditional environment. right? So you can work at a bigger company. You can work at a bank. You can work at an automaker. You can work at a chip manufacturer. You can work at a company that does baby machines, or they sell grills or tables or refrigerators or Whirlpool or cabinet making company. And you can be a part of an innovative team within that sphere in which you built the culture around you. I've built my own teams at some of the places that I've worked at because they lean on me for the expertise of what it was that I was able to draw from being a tech worker. That is where the money is. They will pay you exponentially more to leave those companies in order to go into a traditional company. Now, I'm giving y'all too much sauce, so I'm getting away from that. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. The other side of it is you have to invest in yourself. The first thing you need to do is go into an industry that actually matters. Being a hospitality manager is the same thing as being an underwater basket weaver. Being a liberal arts major is the same thing as being an underwater basket weaver. Okay? An arts major. When you go into fields, STEM, for example, nursing, software engineering, data engineers, anything cybersecurity, when you go into things that the future is going to need, they're going to need more people in order to protect this space, this cyber, whatever it is, right? You will always, regardless, even if you go through a layoff, you will always have opportunities at your fingertips. So actually spend time doing the thing that may seem hard. That's not the path to least resistance when you go to college. You can go to community college. It's a whole nother way for you to be able to utilize that, right? The second thing is you need to cut your hair. Nobody wants to work with somebody that look like they just came out of a Trick Daddy video. You fit the narrative. If you have golds in your mouth, you fit the narrative. I don't care about how you believe that somebody else's company that you didn't build is supposed to acquiesce over into what it is that you culturally believe. Then go over to fucking Haiti. Go over to Nigeria. They all trying to come here. Go back to Africa and build up, or stay here and build up whatever company that you believe is supposed to make sense. Because if you could do it, then you would have did it, but you don't. And so you begging somebody else for a job to work at their company, and you're not going to change the culture. Cut your hair. Do your hair. Stop smelling like a piece of musty. Stop being musty every time you go to work talking about this is my natural scent. No, you smell like trash. You need to wash up. Please, for the sake of all of us, and for those of y'all that wear perfume, please don't overspray. Listen, I know you smell good. I know you washed up this morning, but good grief, do the whole office got to smell like perfume, and they got to smell what you smell like? They got to smell what you smell like every single time you come in? You don't have to overspray. Everybody don't have to smell everything about you. It's a time and a place for that. I seen a guy, it was two guys, that one of them actually had on my Versace glasses, so you know they was from a different nationality, right? They walked by and they had the slick hair, and he had all the cologne on at the Disney park. As soon as you walk past him, it's like, dog, what kind of cologne you got on that's that strong? You put the whole bottle on. The whole bottle, right? If you're actually a cultural fit, if you're a person that works hard, if you show up on time, if you do your job, if you stop embracing rap culture and bringing that crap into what it is that they got going on in the company, maybe you'll be successful when it comes to being better represented within these companies. Sorry for my rant, y'all. I just had to get it in. I'm going to read the super chat shortly.
On this great attrition comment, I think there's a couple of themes that I'd pick up. One is the frontline worker piece of it. We know that Black Americans disproportionately occupy frontline jobs. Many of these folks were the essential workers in the pandemic who, frankly, were out doing the hard work so that many of us could have the basic goods that we needed to get through the pandemic. But we also know that historically, there's been challenges with wages, with predictability of scheduling, and with benefits. And so you've seen very high attrition rates in many of these frontline jobs, particularly in retail. And what it ultimately means is the companies who can think about designing the frontline job, in a way that is truly reimagined, actually will outperform, because we know attrition has all sorts of direct and indirect costs. Those who have the courage to stay in the arena, commit to what I think is pretty hard to disagree with, which is inclusive growth is better for companies, better for society, better for our global economy and our domestic economy. I think folks that stick to that, I think will emerge on the other side stronger.
Shelley, what is the number one thing that many companies did after the murder of George Floyd in terms of making these pledges? What did they say they were going to do, and what is...
Now, why would the murder of George Floyd warrant a pledge for diversity and inclusion and more black workers? Just curious, just asking a question. Why is the murder of George Floyd, right, and regardless of which side of the aisle you stand on and whether or not you agree with, the convictions or if he was murdered or not, it's not even a question that we asking ourselves right now. We talking money. How does George Floyd's demise factor into diversity and inclusion, equity, woke policies at the workplace? Just curious.
Has been done?
There's really two sides of the pledges that link to what happened with the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and many others. The first is companies made, in many cases, pretty ambitious pledges with respect to diversity in their own institutions. So they looked at the population across different levels, from entry level all the way through to the senior executives, and made commitments to, frankly, do better, particularly later in the funnel. So that's one piece of it. The second piece is what I'll call looking outside of the window of the company, which is how do we use our capital and our assets to help address broader systematic inequality? So how do we, in some ways, lift the floor, whereas some of the employment stuff often about raising the ceiling? Corporations have to take direct action in both of these things in terms of proactively managing their internal diversity funnel and understanding what representation looks like throughout, and having the right programs and
So basically it has nothing to do with it. And I don't want to continue to beat a dead horse, because all this tells me is that we live in a privileged society where the overwhelming majority of people are lazy. They don't actually put the work in order to create the best environment for themselves. They feel entitled for America to do something for them, even though you directly never experienced any kind of racism or slavery. I don't care about your little anecdotal experience. I don't care about what it is that you're going to lie to me about and say, Anton, no, man, I experienced some level of slavery. You lied to me. You lied to me. You have not experienced any slavery. Nobody has ever made you do anything. And the only people that's actually really had any kind of impact on what's happening to you in society directly is the people that you live close to. And they probably look like you. They probably look like you. So we're going to have to do better. We're going to have to do better. We're going to have to make sure that we protect ourselves and we're proactive about how it is that we're operating in society. And if you don't like it, again, I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to help you get the bag. And the minute that you start coming to the conclusion that you need to do things differently, you'll have better results. Or you can sit here and complain about me, call me a coon, call me a sellout, and I'm going to be selling out while I'm on a first-class flight taking my daughter and my niece and my wife over to Disneyland, and then we're going to head over to Paris probably in the next couple months. I'm going to go over to the Usher concert. I know me and Rita's supposed to go to the Usher concert in Vegas in April, and we're going to have a suite at the Vidara. You ain't never even stayed at the Vidara. Oh, I'm sorry. That's only for us coons and the white people. It's not for all of the rest of the people. So we're going to make sure that you don't come, and then you can sit there and complain about me while I'm helping all of the rest of the bag chasers get to the money. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and do not join the diversity and inclusion teams. Let me read some of these super chats and see what y'all talking about. Shout out to Tappy in production, says, hashtag of the year is hashtag not a Lambo. You are not a Lambo. You are not a Lambo. I addressed that too. Shout out to all of the people that got these covert agendas on the side that I'm able to sniff out more effectively than I were before. Gore is in the building with the fireball, says, I'm here to collect the diversity and inclusion tiers. Well, you can have them. There's a whole lot of them going on right now with them crying as they getting walked out of work. Elliot Jackson says, joined the Patreon, filtered out my circle, now trying to figure out life. Even had to cut mom off. Congratulations. That is to be applauded. I know a lot of people say that that's not a big deal. That is to be applauded. If you're able to identify the people that's toxic in your circle so that you can create a better environment for yourself and you're a bag chaser, that is to be applauded. Shout out to Elliot Jackson, said, have some plans, but I could definitely use a coaching call going in the right direction. If y'all need to get in touch with me personally, y'all need a coaching call, a Zoom call, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to make sure I get y'all set up for a coaching call, a Zoom session, a phone call. Shout out to Elliot with the 10 ball. I appreciate you. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. I'm going to make sure I get y'all set up. And shout out to Paul, the true believer, says, you are right, Anton. It's not social hour. It's work. There's no need for all of the extras. We there to get this money. We there to add value into the company. They're paying you money in exchange for your time. What are we talking about? Diversity and inclusion. Paul, shout out to Paul, the true believer. I appreciate you. I continue to rock with you. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And also, we appreciate the Alpha Juice Company for continuing to hold us down. The link to their website is in the description, but do not order it without putting a discount code Anton, Anton10, or Anton25, depending on how much you order. All of that is in the description. Shout out to the Alpha Juice Company for continuing to hold us down. We appreciate you. Let's continue, all right? Because I think that before we really continue into this show, it's important for us to ask ourselves a couple questions along the way, right? And I think that one of the things that's preventing people from truly becoming the best version of themselves, and another reason why they continue to try to sell me on the idea that $47,000 a year for a black man is okay, and that you can raise a family on $47,000 a year. I say you can't even really survive with a family of 4 and then prepare yourself for your retirement or for you not to be living under duress if you make $100,000 a year consistently. Now, that's not even including the ups and the downs and the layoffs and all of this other type of stuff. But I often say that you can't even really thrive or survive making $100,000 a year because after taxes, you're sitting on about $67,000 a year on average. On average, that is a fact. Look it up. On average, you're sitting somewhere between $67,000 and $70,000 a year if you get you a 6-figure man. He not retiring you, baby. You need to go and get a job too so that y'all can combine incomes. And then hopefully y'all can create an environment where you can afford at least one child, or maybe you don't even need no children at all because you still culturally hit. You still a nuisance on what it is that we got going on in our culture. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. I appreciate y'all. But I think that one of the things that's preventing us from really, really being able to grow is that you've never experienced it. You don't know what it's like to ride first class. You don't know what it's like to have stitched leather with the red guts in the inside. You don't know what it's like to have a driver. You've never been on the other side. You've never even traveled outside of your city. You don't know what it feels like to get a paycheck that's 5 figures, let alone 6 figures. You've never seen $1 million in real life. And so you have nothing to work towards because all of the people that is in your environment, shout out to Sean, I'm reading your super chat shortly. All of the people that's in your environment are broke. And so you think you're doing good because you got a C or you got a B, you got to be average, but you're never getting into an Ivy League school. You're never getting into the University of Michigan. You're never getting into the best universities. You're never going to be at the top of your field because you don't even know what to strive for. You don't have anything to reverse engineer and then create a milestone for yourself so that you can actually be the best version of yourself, because the people that you're comparing yourself to are those that are in your environment. And so one of the channels that I love a lot, is a channel in which they go to different cities and they stop random people on the street and they ask them, what do they do for a living and how much money do they make? And so I want to share one of the things that's a part of my algorithm with you guys so that we can really mine out and have a conversation on what people are really going through, what they make, and how it is that they're operating within their regular lives that allow for them to be able to live these phenomenal lives that you, because you continue to run in the Victim Olympics, refuse to be a part of. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it in, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Hannah Williams from Salary Transparent Street. We're in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go ask some people what they do and how much they make.
I am a cloud engineer.
I am a cloud engineer.
How much do you make doing what you do?
$120K.
$120K a year.
Let's back up. You know what? I want to do this a little bit differently. I think we need to show this on the big screen. I don't want to show it on a little screen. I want to show it on a big screen. Let me see if I can get this up on a big screen just really quickly for y'all. I got some phenomenal software that I use to do my live stream, so let's do it.
This is Hannah Williams from Salary Transparency. We're in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go ask some people what they do and how much they make.
I am a cloud engineer.
I am a cloud engineer.
How much do you make doing what you do?
120K.
120K a year.
How many years of experience do you have total versus industry?
So listen to this. Let's pay attention to this, y'all. Let's mine this out. We have a couple here. Both of them are cloud engineers. This is in Atlanta, Georgia. They have a child. Both of them make $120,000 a year, which is the equivalent of close to $250,000 a year. This is the new standard. This is the new norm of how it is that you're going to be operating when it comes to being strategic and winning as a family. Just because you make six figures don't mean that your chick can't work. I know plenty of them from other cultures, especially Indian cultures, where they make over $200,000 a year. And the women are not working. The women are also getting that same amount of money that the man is getting. Where do we get to where a woman has to not work? So you telling me you got you a 25, 26, 27-year-old woman, and the only thing that she do is breathe in the morning? She ain't even got no reason to wake up for an alarm clock?
I've got 7.
I started in 2017, so I'm approaching 6 years.
How did you get into it? Like, what helped you?
Necessity. I did it when I was in college, and it just kind of evolved, and here I am.
Yeah, learning more about it from him showed me that I was capable of doing it, and it would be less stressful than what I was doing.
Any advice you would have for
Learning from your husband. He is clearly the leader of his family. She said, listen, I was paying attention to what he was doing, and it gave me the battery in my back to be able to do what I got to do.
others interested in this?
Go for it. I work from home.
How did you get remote work? Was it like included? Was it difficult?
It started with COVID. They just said, keep going.
Yeah, it also morphed for me, so I'm working from home as well. And the pandemic helped with that, so people can see with cloud engineering, it's not necessary to come into the office.
I work with my temple, helping out kids and teachers.
How much do you make?
$8 an hour.
How old are you?
14. I walk dogs sometimes, and I'll also help my neighbors with things that they need to do.
How much do you make, like weekly basis?
I think maybe $10 a week.
I babysit. I get $15 an hour usually.
She's killing it. Do you guys feel like you're too young to be working? Are you excited about work?
I'm excited about work. I don't feel I'm too young. I work it through my schedule so I can balance doing track, school, and hanging out with my friends. I like keeping myself busy. I just like it. I think it's going to help me in the future.
More money.
More money. I love it. Do you guys know what your parents do and how much they make?
My mom helps people write college essays and pick which college they want to go to.
Do you know how much she makes doing that?
I do not know how much she makes, but she works student by student, which is really cool.
Our mom's a comedian.
And our dad's a lawyer.
You know how much they make? A comedian. That's so fun.
We don't really know.
Our mom is a comedian and our dad's a lawyer. Sound like she's trying to find her footing, and he over there supporting the family.
They said you are a comedian. Amazing stand-up. How has that been working for you?
Sometimes you get paid $10 and a slice of pizza. Also, I do comedy for private events, and I'm Jewish, so I'll do comedy for fundraisers and stuff.
How do you like what you do?
I mean, I do it because I love it. I wasn't always a stand-up comedian. I used to work at a very long time ago, Cartoon Network and for Adult Swim. I left right after they were born. And I consulted for a while, and I've made everything from $85 an hour as a consultant to $10 for performing for 20 minutes.
What was the best job out of all those?
I have to say, I really enjoy performing. I love being on stage. Stage is my
Sound like her husband is the one that actually makes all of the money, to be honest with you.
comfort zone.
So you're happy where you are?
I feel like every year I'm what are my goals?
Yeah.
And I often compare myself to other comedians and what they're doing. And I'm also a mom. I've got 3 kids. Yeah. So some days comedy wins. Most of the time family does.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take me longer to get to where I want to go because
You can forget it, ma'am. You can forget it. If you're not just doing it as a hobby, you could just go ahead and forget it and let that dream go.
I definitely don't get out as much as some other comedians who they're performing. So I run my own shows also to kind of balance that out. And I do a podcast. I create my own content just to have that creative outlet. So I feel like the people who are successful are the people who take control for what they do, right? So if you're waiting for someone to give you that job, whether it's in the creative industry or whatever industry, I don't like depending on other people to make things happen. So I try and just do it myself.
I'm an athletic trainer and events coordinator.
How much do you make?
Roughly about $130,000 a year.
He's an athletic trainer and an events coordinator, and he makes $130,000 a year. I am not familiar with this industry, events coordination, and it sounds like he does athletic training on the side, and then he does events coordinating, or maybe it's just two hustles. I don't know.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing event management for about 9.5 years, and I've been an athletic trainer for about 4 years.
When did athletic training come around?
I worked in healthcare prior to becoming an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. I saw my first salary within half a year becoming an entrepreneur, but it's just doing the work and doing the research. You know, the money is out there. You just got to get out there and find it because money is out here.
I manage a pop-up market, and I also sell vintage online.
How much?
Sounds like she broke. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not seen this video ahead of time. I'm looking at it in real time just like y'all. This sounds like she's broke. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Do you make?
And we got to take into consideration. Okay. So she worked for somebody else. So she might not be broke if she worked for somebody else. But we got to take into consideration. We don't know how true. So we just taking these people word for it. But we don't know how true a lot of this is.
Employer, I'd say I make like $1,200 a month. Through myself, also $1,200 a month. Yeah. Just a start out business, so not too much.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been selling vintage for like 2 years now.
Do you like what you do?
Oh, I love it.
Look like she got that Coogee. That Coogee sweater is fire though. That Coogee sweater is fire. I'm about to start getting me some Coogee sweaters. As soon as the weather turn back again, I'm going to start getting my Coogee sweaters on.
How'd you get involved in your small business?
My Nana is a style icon. She like truly inspired me.
Jesus
And then like
Christ.
ever since I was little, I've always thrifted, even though my family didn't. So just from like my Nana's inspiration and also just thrifting secondhand and trying to save the environment.
Ain't a Nana like a mother or grandmother or something like that? A Nana is the grandmother, right? How ghetto.
Just got me into vintage clothing.
What's the name of your small business?
My business is Shake Vintage Boutique.
I'm a pharmacist.
What about you?
A pharmacist as well.
Do y'all see how the successful people are moving though? And it's not just white people or Asian people. It was some black people. The very first people that was on this show were black people. But do y'all see how they moving? A lot of times, and this is why I tell y'all all the time, that you have to throw away the narrative of what's being communicated on YouTube or social media or Clubhouse or whatever of how people are operating within their environment as far as their marriages and things like that, because it's a lot of people that's successful. And when I tell you that women work. The goal is not to retire a woman. The goal is for her to find her purpose. So some women may work for you. Some women may be mothers, and that's work because the child is not old enough to go to school full time. Some people may work in a regular job. But if you notice, a lot of these people are in the same industries. It's similar to what you know, you going to school or you going to work or whatever like that. A lot of time, these people often at times do the same thing. They do the same thing. Sometimes they work at the same job and they make sure that they leverage what somebody else knows in order to. If you can't even help your own spouse become successful so that you can double your income and your salary, what worth are you?
How much do you make?
About like 100K, 110 a year probably in that area.
Same amount, yes.
How long have you been doing it?
Under like 2 years, a year and a half probably.
I just graduated in May, so a couple months, yeah.
They got that student loan debt is on fire, I bet you.
We're from Texas, so
Do you recommend it?
probably not right now because it's so oversaturated right now.
Saturated,
Yeah, there's a lot of people going into the field. Even like when we were starting, we were like one of the last year, like, oh, you know, like you gotta get in while you can. But I mean, I guess with how like the pandemic has changed things, like there'll always be a job at the end of the day. Like if you don't mind working like retail pharmacy, I know they're always gonna be like hiring and things of that sort.
We're actually in different fields of pharmacy, so he's hospital and I'm more retail.
I hear hospital is better than retail is what I've been hearing.
A little bit,
Workflows wise, they'll get paid more because they're usually by themselves as retail pharmacists.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
So it just depends, I guess, place to place, really.
They're giving all of the sauce. This also bucks the narrative, ladies and gentlemen, that people that have resources are not nice enough to actually tell you the truth or give you the sauce on. It's such a myth that people that make money or they meaner or people that start to get richer. I believe that the more money you make, the nicer you get. The mean people are at the bottom. The mean people are not at the top. It's just the people at the top is not willing to deal with the mean people at the bottom in order to be able to give you the sauce and the game on how it is that you can be successful. The higher you get, the more money you make, the nicer you are. It's just the less that they have time for the foolishness. That's the difference.
Legal assistant. I work for a commercial real estate company.
How long have you been doing it?
About 2 years.
How'd you get into it?
Just actually through Indeed. Oh, just applying. Yeah.
They're sponsoring us. How was your experience using Indeed?
It's been great, actually. I really recommend it.
Do you like what you do?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for others who might be interested?
Just stay consistent, even when the work can seem overwhelming. Just push through. It's worth it, and it's necessary.
How much do you make?
I make $55,000 a year.
Do you feel fairly compensated?
So this woman is a legal assistant, and she makes $55,000 a year. And y'all gonna sit here and tell me that $47,000 a year as a man, as a black man on average making $47,000 a year is enough? She's a legal assistant and she makes $55,000 a year. Come on, man.
Cost of
then y'all gonna tell her she need to lower her standards too, right? I know.
living in Atlanta is high, and I live in this area. It's a great area, but it's a very expensive area. Gentrification is real, and prices keep rising, so I think pay should keep rising, but that doesn't seem to be happening.
I'm a consultant. A consultant accelerates.
So he get the bag. I can tell you right now that he get the bag. If I had to predict his salary, I'm gonna say that he probably makes over $170,000 a year at least. If he's working for himself as a consultant, then he makes over 170. If he's working for somebody else as a consultant, then he probably makes slightly between $100,000 and $120,000 a year. Consultants get the bag because consultants really eat what they kill, and it's important for them to be able to sell in order to maintain a contract. So they have to have a great relationship with whoever it is that they're doing business with, especially if you're a corporate consultant. So I would say that he's well over six figures if I had to guess.
Projects and get things done.
Do you like what you do?
I love what I do.
How long have you been doing it?
11 years.
How'd you get into it?
I just fell into it, honestly. I heard good things about it and just applied and got it.
What's your educational background?
I have an undergrad in economics and I also have an MBA.
Nice.
How much do you make?
It ranges anywhere between $200,000 to $400,000.
I keep trying to tell y'all, I underpriced. I thought that he was going to say 170, 175. He said between 2 and 4, but that's not out of the norm. A lot of people don't understand that consulting is really sales. Okay, let me break this down again. Consulting is really sales. When you get to a certain level and when you get into a certain industry, realistically, you're just building relationships in order to continue to keep contracts. But often at times, you're often incentivized by your employer or by whomever it is that you're consulting for in order to continue to drive value. But they're worth their weight in salt because often at times they either A, save the company a bunch of money, or B, they add a bunch of value. So when people say stuff like, I don't understand how people make that much money, I don't understand how people do this or do that, it's because of the value that we bring to the organizations that we work for. So for example, if somebody brings me in, right, and they say, Anton, and I'm going to tell you why I was able to name my own salary. When they say, Anton, I need you to join this organization, you can create whatever position that you want and so on and so forth. That person has already worked for me, and they also understand the value that I'm going to bring, whether it's to the customers, whether it's additional revenue. So if I drive an additional, let's just say 10 million, 20 million, 30 million in revenue, or I save the company that much, what do they care whether or not they giving me bonuses, in which your bonuses is often tied to your performance? So when you see CEO pay, and people are complaining about CEO pay, what they're really complaining about is that they can't actually truly get to that bag, because CEO pay often at times is tied to the performance of the stock or the performance of the company. So if you hit sales targets or you hit stock prices, everybody is winning. The shareholders are winning. The chairman is winning. The board of directors are winning. The employees are winning. And if everybody is winning, then your compensation is going to be tied to the performance of the company. Now, if the performance of the company is trash, then that also means that you won't get as much compensation from your performance as you thought that you would, right? And so executive pay is often at times tied to the performance of the company, which is why they make so much money, because they've earned it. When you talk about somebody like, I'm going to go back in the day for those of y'all that truly don't understand. I'm not going to use a recent example. I'm going to use an older example. Alan Mulally, right? Alan Mulally was a former Boeing executive that then steered Ford Motor Company through the recession in which they were the only American automakers, them and Tesla was the only American automakers that didn't take the bailout. Chrysler took the bailout. General Motors took the bailout. Institutional investors got washed. Everybody lost a lot of money. They had to reissue the stock, so on and so forth, right? Because they had to reorganize their debt. Alan Mulally made hundreds of millions of dollars. And then people were saying, oh, Ford ain't even doing it. No, Ford thrived and survived, and then he actually leveraged the Blue Oval and the name of the Blue Oval, and he mortgaged the company basically in order to be able to survive through the recession, which ultimately did yield great results, and Ford came out of it very, very strong as a company. And then he was able to increase the stock price from before he got there and fix all of the problems from the CEO and the corporate structure, right? He eliminated a lot of the dealerships. I'm not going to go into it, right? I'm not going to break it down. Maybe I'll do it for the Patreon members. But my point is that when people like this are able to drive value, you're able to name your price. But the first thing you have to understand is sales. You got to understand culture. And you need to understand how to add value into the company. When you solve a problem, the people that solve a problem and the people that are in sales, they make the most money. Trust me. Let's continue.
Why does it range?
It's based on performance and utilization. So if you have a good year, your bonus can be almost twice.
What did I just say? What did I just say? I literally just broke this down for you before he even said anything. I just told you. Man, y'all got to get out of y'all comfort zone. Black people, bag chasers. If y'all don't get out of y'all comfort zone and start to go into fields and industries that drive value and learn how to solve a problem and add more value, instead of standing on the side of the road, protesting for $16, $17, $18 an hour, talking about diversity, inclusion, and equity, you are going to be left behind in this economy. We don't care anything about that anymore.
Your salary. It can get pretty gnarly sometimes, but overall it's been great.
Gnarly as in, what are the pros and cons?
Long hours, tough clients, and very short deadlines.
Long hours, tough clients, short deadlines. It ain't no victim Olympics in here. They don't care about what you think. You need to drive the value, and we will reward you accordingly.
So the cons. And the pros are working with smart people, learning new skills, and just doing something impactful. The advice for people who want to get into consulting and want to grow is I recommend definitely learning a lot, and don't be afraid to jump ship, because that's how you get more money. That's how you elevate yourself. Yeah. Don't be afraid to jump.
I'm a stock player.
And I say it all the time. They will pay you more to leave, but you need to get uncomfortable.
Representative.
How much do you make?
I think my salary is about $60,000.
Do you feel well paid for what you do?
The stress level and the kind of customers we have, I feel like we can get paid more, but there's a lot of opportunities for overtime. So I think once you get licensed, because I work in finance, you have to get your FINRA licenses. Once you get licensed, you get, I guess, better calls because you're more experienced and you know what you're doing. But when you're not that experienced in the field, it can be stressful because it's still a learning curve and you have to learn a lot.
How long have you been doing it?
For about a year and a half.
Do you like what you do?
Let me just say I'm a creative, so I'm an artist, but I do work in corporate, so it's definitely a growth thing. So I love the fact that I'm learning something new.
What's your educational background to get into this?
Majored in marketing, so my job's actually in finance, which is a little bit different from marketing, but it's still business centered. So
any tips or advice?
Well, I had customer service experience, so I think that was like a big thing that helps in a lot of job sectors. So I guess what I did in my other job and how I managed situations, and that kind of made my now manager want to hire me.
I'm currently unemployed and
what a surprise. The wildest, hair looks the craziest. What did I tell y'all before we started this? What did I tell y'all on how to solve for making yourself valuable? Maybe it's just a mother. I don't know. Maybe she a mother, because I do see it say stay at home with the kids. So let me not prejudge. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be objective. Let me hear the whole story.
Staying at home with my kids, so I'm entrepreneurship or starve right now.
Did you have a job before you became a stay-at-home mom? What did you do before?
I was still a stay-at-home mom, but I was working from home as well, so I was doing double alternative lifestyle.
Sound like you're a single mother. I wish I was the person that's... Let me text Rita. Tell her to get me a microphone so I can go on the street to start talking to these people so that I could... I'm going to ask the right questions. So do you got a husband at home, or why are you doing what is double alternative lifestyle?
How much were you making?
This year I had been raised to about...
How much were you making?
$54K. I was promoted to operations business manager at the beginning of 2022.
Why did you leave?
I didn't leave. I was let go. Unclear about the exact terms of why I was let go.
You know.
Boo. But I just was like, I don't want to rush into another job, and I don't want to rush into the next entrepreneurial thing that I want to do. And I just wanted to stay at home with my kids and catch a break for a second.
How has that been going for you?
It's been up and down. Like some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make some more income. I need to get it coming in, because I was actually denied unemployment, so I'm appealing that.
Let me Now, if you let somebody talk long enough, you let somebody talk about themselves long enough, they'll start to actually tell you the truth. So, for those of you that are not familiar, unemployment insurance, which is usually done through the UIA, it's very easy to get, right? And it's easy to get, especially if you've actually been laid off. Now, it's a difference between being laid off and being fired, because for those of you that have never employed anybody, we pay into the unemployment insurance on behalf of our employees, right? And when somebody is laid off, the idea is that they are able to float, or they're supposed to have some level of income as a result of being let go due to no fault of their own. Let me say that again. Due to no fault of their own. I'm about to start reading the super chat shortly. No fault of their own. That means that they will not deny you. They're going to automatically approve you, and your employer is not going to fight you getting insurance or unemployment insurance or your unemployment pay, right? If they laid you off. It's not any problem. Now, if you sit here and you say to me, well, they actually denied it, that means either one of two things happened, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you the game. Either you got fired for something that you wasn't supposed to be doing. Either you got fired for something that you wasn't supposed to be doing, and the body language says it all. Or you decided to quit your job and going into being an entrepreneur. It didn't work out the way that you thought it was going to be because you was listening to your homegirls, and now they denied your unemployment insurance when you tried to apply for it. It's the only two reasons why you will be denied unemployment insurance. Either you got fired for doing something that you wasn't supposed to do, and it's a difference between being fired and laid off, because laid off is the company is reducing headcount, they got to save costs, there's nothing they can do about it, so on and so forth. Versus actually quitting your job and going into being an entrepreneur. So everybody that sit there and tell y'all, oh man, you got to start your own business. Okay, you see her over here struggling. Everybody ain't built like that. But I'm glad that these people are being asked these questions and they being honest.
Yeah, big stuff. But just watching your channel has just given me a lot of inspiration. Like, okay, I should be making around this much for what I do and for the area that I live in. It forced me to go digging a little deep about stuff in my.
When it gets warm outside, I'm gonna hit the streets, y'all. Sean says, I'm over all this diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff, man. Always trying to make me participate in some work meeting about being black in tech. I don't know what that means. I like tech and I was born black. Let me be. Facts, Sean. Shout out to Sean with the 10 ball. Yo, I don't want to be a representation. I don't want to represent what y'all got going on. I don't want to do it. Leave me alone. I'm not black. I'm OJ. Okay. Machine with the 2 ball says, Anton, you will be perfect on the street. As soon as it warm up, I'm hitting the streets. You heard it here first. As soon as it warm up, we hitting the streets. I promise you.
Yeah,
I love
research.
Do you have any goals in the next 3 years that you hope to accomplish?
Yep. In the next 3 years, I want to have a multifamily unit that I purchase for passive income. Yeah.
Stop letting people sell y'all on passive income. Stop letting people sell y'all on passive income. I see you, Q. Appreciate you. I'm going to read you shortly. Stop letting people sell y'all on passive income. They don't know what they're talking about, man. Trust me. And if y'all want me to get y'all the game on that, we can talk about it maybe tomorrow or Wednesday when I get back into the studio.
My goal is passive income.
For sure. We don't want to worry about that paycheck.
No, I'm done paycheck to paycheck living.
Let me tell y'all something. When I hear somebody say passive income, we're going to end it there. What is this, the 9-minute mark? We'll come back to this the next day. We're going to end it there. When I hear somebody say passive income, that says to me, I'm lazy. I don't want to work anymore. When I hear people say passive income, that means to me, I'm lazy. I don't want to work anymore. I'm tired of working. We not coming to save you. We not coming to marry you. We not coming to retire you. None of that. We not doing none of that. Leave me alone. I ain't got nothing for you. I don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Walk away. I don't have anything for you. Walk away. Let me see what Q is talking about out here in these streets. Q says, Anton, you should hit them streets and interview people. That will be a good addition to your platform. You know, y'all know what's so funny, Q? I actually have unpublished footage of me doing and hitting the streets and having certain conversations and stuff like that. Maybe I'll let some of that go on the Anton Daniels channel and see what the word is. Centennial G, my dog, I appreciate you. Thank you, Q. Centennial G says, I would like to treat every diversity, equity, and inclusion representative to a glass of Orenthal James orange juice with a side of skim milk and Dr. Umar Spears, Dr. Umar lashes. Thank you, Centennial G. I appreciate y'all. Let me I see y'all in the chat. Y'all acting up. Y'all are out of control in the chat. I'm over here in Orlando trying to do a live stream and y'all in the chat acting up. Let me add one more thing. Oh my gosh. Persevere Data TV is in the building talking about. Shout out to all of the bag chasers, coders, and engineers. Happy birthday, Rita and Leslie. Rita and Leslie. Persevere Data TV sent the 50 ball and he said, listen, happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen. He said, happy birthday. We've been at Disney World. We've been at Universal. We've been having a good time. Shout out to Persevere Data TV for the 50 ball. I appreciate you, big dog. You are very much a part of family. Y'all don't know me and Persevere Data TV. We actually kicked it on the phone in real life and stuff. So it's a difference. Shout out to my people. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for holding me down. Look, he threw another 20 on top of it. He said, make it rain. Anton, interview me on the Riverwalk so I can flex all of my exes on all of my exes. You ignorant. That's what you are. You crazy. Montius Jackson says it's all passive income until you got a below zero cold snap and your pipes burst. This real estate game ain't for the weak. Listen, if real estate, you are absolutely right. People have no clue what they're doing, what they're talking about. I know so many people that's lost so much money trying to flip homes, trying to get passive income, trying to do a multifamily unit. They don't even know that this person is going to be calling and they couldn't get them out because they ain't paid their rent 3 months and all of this. You don't know what you talking about. You don't have the ability to be able to float that mortgage for an extended period of time. You are barking up a tree. You don't know how to vet tenants effectively. You don't know what to do if the water heater go out. You don't really have... Man, they don't know. They don't know, but they gonna learn today. You gonna learn today. Finally, London, all right? And one of the reasons, and I'm gonna continue to read super chats throughout the show. Shout out to Rebuilding Black Wall Street. I got you, big dog. I'm going to open up the panel for you guys to be able to jump on the live stream and give me your thoughts. I want to go over one more thing, though. And I want to use London as an example because for some reason, people believe that it's only happening here in the U.S. as far as inflation. Our ability to be able to tackle inflation and what you often see, thank you, Q, I got you. I'm about to read that too. Our ability to be able to tackle inflation. Q, where you want to, let me read some of these super chats before we get into this rest of the show. Building Black Wall Street said, I agree 100% Anton. I successfully flipped houses and had to work my butt off. I have rental property and work my butt off. No such thing as free money. No such thing as free money. Talk to him. I done been in the game. I've been in the game. I know what's happening. Q says, where's the next Patreon meeting going to be? Well, we can't go to Houston because apparently Jay Prince is over there running amok of the legal system. All right. They got mob ties over there in Houston. How about Let's do. Maybe we should give people a little bit of time because the prices seem to be high on flights. Let's do April when it warms up a bit. Let's go down south. Maybe we can do Atlanta. Y'all want to do Atlanta in April? Late April, Atlanta. Patreon meetup. Let's mark Atlanta. Let's shoot for Atlanta. Patreon meetup late April. Atlanta Patreon meetup late April. What y'all think? This is Q's fault. Right off the top of my head, this is Q. Y'all said LA? LA? Florida? Los Angeles? Yo, when we did Atlanta was insane. It was popping in Atlanta. Shout out to my ATLians. We got Atlanta. I see LA. We just came from Miami, Dallas. I like Dallas. Dallas is lit. Y'all want to do Dallas? I think Dallas should be it. We haven't did Dallas yet. We did Houston. We didn't do Dallas. We'll talk about it in the Patreon. Let's talk about it in the Patreon, y'all. Let's talk about it in the Patreon. All right, so listen, let's continue. So London, and I want to talk about London specifically because there was a recent video that came out on, I believe, CNBC about London specifically and about how rent prices are out of control. Inflation, the cost of doing business and living and things like that is out of control in London. But I think that it's the same way across the board all the way in the United States. It doesn't matter where you go. Everywhere is overly expensive as far as your ability to be able to really be able to survive and thrive. And so I want to share this with y'all specifically. Shout out to my dog Logic. He says go to Germany. Logic over there. Logic want us to be over in where was Kanye? Wyoming. Hey, I'm Logic. If you in Germany, I'll shoot over to Germany. We can link up. We gonna figure it out. Shout out to my dog Logic with the 20 ball says come to Germany or go to Germany. I appreciate you, big dog. Just give me the dates and we gonna figure it out. Also, Elliot Jackson says, have you been to Black Wall Street and Stockbridge? It's just a bunch of street vendors and restaurants, but maybe some investment can change it. I haven't. Elliot, send me an email about that because I might want to do a show on that so that I can better explore it with the people before we even explore it, before we jump into it. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, Logic. I appreciate you, big dog. Let's dive into this video really quickly, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to talk about rents all the way across the board because everybody is leaving everywhere in order to try to find somewhere where they can exist for an extended period of time and be able to control the cost that it takes to live. You can't outrun inflation, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. You cannot outrun inflation, okay? You cannot outrun the cost of living continuing to increase. It is going to catch you. It is going to find you. It is going to ensure that you're going to suffer. It doesn't matter how far away from the city in order to be able to get away from it. Don't matter what kind of job, don't matter what country you move to. Everybody else is going to be moving to that same country at the same time as soon as they find out that you're there. You cannot outrun it. The only thing that you can go about doing is making sure that you prepare yourself so that you can make enough money that you can then invest to where you can then beat the rate of inflation and you don't have to worry about it from that perspective. You don't have to worry about being priced out from the middle class perspective. All right, so let's get into the video and then I'm going to open up. Make sure y'all got y'all good lighting in y'all camera. I'm going to open it up for the general public for y'all to be able to come up, give me y'all insight information. If you got a question, you got a comment, you got a thought, you disagree with me, you agree with me, I will make that available for you guys shortly after this video.
We were shocked at how high the rent increase was. My flatmate and I wouldn't be able to afford that increase based on the jobs we have and what we currently earn.
We love this area and we've lived here for the past 6 years. We desperately wanted to stay and we were more than prepared to stay.
London super chats throughout the show, y'all. By 17% during 2022.
London rents increased by 17%. Think about that, y'all. 17%. Now, at its highest, the official rate of inflation here in the United States of America during 2022 was almost at 10%. All right. For a lot of y'all, the rate of inflation was actually much higher than that. That was just the official numbers that came out of the White House, right? But for a lot of y'all, it's based off of your lifestyle. It's based off of how much you need to spend at the grocery store, how often you find yourself at the gas pump, how often you find yourself having to move as a result of not being able to afford the rents in your current environment, how long your lease is. And so the context matters, but on average, when your rents are increasing 17% over the past year. Now, people that own their homes, unless you don't have a mortgage, you're not protected against this either. If you're buying a new home today, you're paying significantly more than you did in yesteryear or 2 years ago, right? But then 2 years ago, you wasn't safe either because you had to pay over $150,000 over the asking price because everybody was buying homes and there was no inventory. So you got to almost pick your poison. Either you're in a position of power or you're under duress, but under duress doesn't mean you're protected just because you're not one of the people that's paying rent or you don't live in this particular environment, because everywhere is going up. Everywhere you're going to be suffering. Reading Super Chat shortly. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Ben Jefferson, Q, everybody. Reading Super Chat shortly.
That's the highest year-on-year increase the city has recorded since 2007. On average, London's renters, who are single earners, spend 48.4% of their income on rent. In 2021, that figure was just 42.7%.
Many renters are fighting their landlords on proposed rent increases or are being forced to move as they can no longer afford to pay rent for their homes.
Upon closely reading the tenancy agreement with our other tenants in the building, we realised that together we could communicate in a way that would challenge the process of the proposed increase.
You know you struggling and you know you stuck between a rock and a hard place when you got to start partnering with other people that's tenants in your building in order to try to fight the landlord from raising the rent on yourself. When you start looking at the fine print after you've already been in your lease for over a year or 6 months in order to try to prevent yourself from having to pay more rent, when you start looking at the fine print, because y'all know how y'all do, you just be happy to get a place. You be happy to get out on your own. You be happy to get that new place or whatever until the costs start adding up and it start hitting you. Then you want to start pulling that back up to all of the lease payments and stuff like that. And you want to start reading the fine print. Wait a minute. What the heck is going on here, huh? Oh, man. I got to start doing things differently. Oh, shoot. I need to read the paperwork and the fine print. That's because you're struggling. And you went out there and you looked on Zillow and you looked on Trulia and you looked on all of these sites and you tried to find a better deal and another opportunity in order for you to be able to reduce your costs. And it's not happening. It's not happening. You stuck between a rock and a hard place. And because you don't have the ability to make more, now you got to go and get somebody to be a roommate with, or you got to rent a room from somebody. Or, worst case scenario for a lot of y'all, you one step away from being homeless.
There was no way that we could afford to heat or eat on that budget.
Can't
with
even
our
eat.
Rent probably being about a good 90% of my pay packet.
There are also no rent controls in London.
When rent is 90% of what it is that you make, and you just literally going to work so that you can have a roof over your head to sleep in front of, you one step away from sleeping in your car, big dog.
Meaning that landlords have the power to charge as much rent as they think is reasonable and can get. In a highly competitive market with more demand than supply for rental properties, this has led to sky-high prices that are unaffordable for many. Renters can try to negotiate
all your
or say
protesting,
no,
it doesn't matter.
but then they run another risk, being evicted.
My name's Daniel Lloyd, I'm 26 years old and our landlord has proposed to increase our rent by 27%.
My name's Dave Trauner, I'm 33 and our rent went up 26%.
So, how did we get here? And what does it all mean for renters in London? London is a city of close to 9 million people, spread.
It's the equivalent of New York over in the UK. It's the equivalent of New York over in the UK. Think about this. It's 9 million people in London. Well, I'm going to let the video play and then I'm going to break this down for y'all.
Out over around 607 square miles, which is about twice as large as New York City.
Yep.
From skyscrapers in the city center to family homes in the suburbs.
Now, it's about 8 million people in New York City. It's a lot of people, man. I think it's what is it? A little over between 2 and 3 million in Houston. In Houston, it take you over an hour to drive from one side of the city to the other. Houston is massive. It's over 2 to 3 million people, I think, in Houston. Dallas is between 1 and 2 million people. New York is over 8 million people, and London is 9 million people officially that lives in the city.
It is a highly diverse city and an international hub.
Inner London covers the sort of central part of London. It covers an area that's sort of maybe 20 to 30 minutes commute by public transport. It covers all the international areas. When you get out into the suburbs of London, which is far more of a market dominated by houses, maybe sort of 35, 40, 50 minutes commute out of the centre, rents fall. So, moving into outer London, there's better value for money, and so you get people on higher incomes moving there. The other thing
The problem with that a lot of times is that you're away from the culture. You're away from being able to live, work, and play. You're away from the networking opportunities. You're away from the businesses. You're away from the food. You're away from the people. And you have to spend more money and more time on commuting. So if you work in the city or you work somewhere close to the city, and one of the things that people are experiencing now, even abroad and here in the United States, one of the things that people have been experiencing is that during the pandemic, they thought that they was going to work from home forever. And it was just wishful thinking. Because most people said stuff like, oh, we'll never go back to work, or things will never go back to that. Now what I see happening all the way across the board is everybody is being required to go back into work. Unless you're just a customer service representative that can take calls from home, everybody is being forced to go back into the office for the most part in most companies. They are figuring out a way. Amazon was one of the biggest proponents of staying working from home. Now they're reconfiguring and spending billions of dollars in order to have their people reconfigure what it is that they got going on inside of their real estate so that they can have you come back into the office. How do I know? Because I actually coach a lot of people that work for Amazon. Shout out to Mr. Maximus. I'm going to be reading y'all super chat shortly. And so you bought all of these places out where you thought that you had space, and then you thought you solved for the problem because you no longer had to commute into the spaces that you had to work at, and you thought that you was safe for the rest of your life, and now you have a 45-minute to an hour commute to get back into the space that you were originally at in the first place. One of the benefits, because there's pros and cons of living in the city and away from the city, one of the benefits of being in the city is that you save, for example, in New York, you save a lot of money during public transportation. Now, a lot of people say, ew, public transportation. I think that public transportation is awesome. If I can live, work, and play all in the same area without even really having to own a car, I'm with that. I'm a city guy. That's just a part of my personality. I like to be surrounded by people. I like to be able to go outside. I like to be able to walk to the gym, walk over to here, take care of business, go and link up, go change my stuff, and then walk back to the crib, or catch the bus, or catch the Q line, or catch the subway, or whatever like that. And so you save a lot of money in public transportation, but then that money is just offset because you spend a lot more money in order to be able to live in those environments.
I'd also add is London's seen a lot of improvement in public transport, so we've also opened up new markets.
Strong transport links are one of the advantages Daniel and his flatmate enjoy about their home, which is located in outer London.
London is just the best place to live. There are so many things to do, outdoors and indoors. The transport links are fantastic and enable us to get to all sorts of different places, to see different people, to meet different people.
Daniel and his flatmate also have to live in London for their jobs.
We love the city and the opportunities that it gives. For me, as a reporter, I travel a lot.
But he's a freelance journalist, so, it really doesn't even matter. Like, a lot of these guys just be broke. A lot of them truly don't understand that they have to generate a lot of revenue, but then they stuck between a rock and a hard place because it's not like they can quit their jobs. Let me bring up my dog, see what my dog is talking about. See what my dog is talking about. What up, though, Logic?
Bag chaser, stand up. All the haters fall back.
You in Germany, bro?
No, not yet. I don't go to the fifth.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? Just chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Because that is not your background. That's not your normal background, bro.
My normal background now is somebody else's background. I moved a while ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm out of here.
Why you move, bro?
Well, based on everything you just said, like, look, you don't see me come on the bag chases that often, but when I hear you say something like that, hey, look, you right. Sometimes you got to be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying, to kind of get what you want to do, and that was me. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to do here, but you know what? I had to kind of get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Actually, and chase what I want to do for like probably another 2 years, so I can kind of like chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, Europe is. But the thing is, like, you looking at that Europe video, right? I think that was to the UK, right?
Yep. In London.
That's reality for Americans, though.
Yeah, it's the same.
No. I'm tell you why it's different. So if you go over there, just say you work in your American company, you go over there. They put the bill for a lot of your stuff.
The American company?
Yeah, the American company. So just say, for instance, they give you housing allowance. So
okay,
which is different from your salary. So obviously over there, they're gonna give you housing allowance because yes, the housing allowance over there is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Probably, you know what I'm saying, you'll be probably paying like 5,000 euros a month. You know what I'm saying?
What's the equivalent from a American? Do you know what the equivalent is? Dollars to euros?
So that'll be something like around, I would say, maybe $4,200.
Okay, I got
you. Know what I'm saying? So you're always gonna be high, and you know what I'm saying, it varies too.
Yeah.
Also over there, they give you COLA. You know what I'm saying? They give you a cost of living allowance because, you know what I'm saying, obviously the euro is more than $1, so they do stuff like that. So, and another benefit that you get is, I think right now, the first $120,000 of your salary is tax free.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's a move right there. That's the move right there.
It's benefits, but you know what I'm saying, how many people is willing to get out of their comfort zone? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if people don't know what they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like most people only know their hood. A lot of people ain't never even been out of their city, bro. To be honest with you, most people, they stuck in a city. I see a lot of New York dudes, and they don't know nothing outside of New York, bro. All they know is New York.
Yeah, but who fault is that? Like, I mean, I tell everybody.
Their fault. It's their fault.
Yeah, I tell everybody, you know what? And for the most part, they will increase your salaries for actually getting outside your comfort zone. So not only you get your salary increase, you know what I'm saying, you get housing paid for, you getting COLA, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to pay in Europe, I know specifically Germany, they have a what is it called? Value added tax, right? So you're exempt from that too.
Yeah, that's
so.
Not
Not only you're not paying taxes in America, you also exempt from paying taxes in per, you know what I'm saying, the status of forces agreement with the actual the country. You don't pay none of that. So you know what I'm saying, if you add it up, you can go over there for like 3 years and make a straight killing. And I know people that do it. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy, he been in Kuwait for almost 21 years. And you can't pull him out of it because, you know what I'm saying, you don't got to pay no value added taxes. They paying for his housing for the time that he's there. And, you know what I'm saying, so much of his salary is tax free. So, you know what I'm saying, you can go over there blindly and, you know what I'm saying, be pulling in 300 a year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you compare to what you make here,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because my salary, they're going to be competitive with my salary over there compared to what I was making here. So, yeah, it's a killing. Sometimes people just got to really just, hey, I want to get out of my comfort zone. I want to see what's out there. You know what I'm saying? And then now you can have the flexibility where you can make moves in America.
I'm actually, it's funny because me and Rita is planning within the next probably three years tops. We gonna live in a different country probably every 6 months.
Well, don't go to UK because you're gonna be spending the bag out there. You know what I'm saying?
But the cost don't bother me. You know, I don't care about the cost.
We talking to the average person.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
Why you think the passport bros don't go to the UK to Europe?
Well, I also heard. Now you can confirm if this is true or not. I've also heard that the black women over there is worse than the black women over here with the attitudes and stuff.
No, you talking about the
That's what I
ghetto
heard.
just pearly?
Nah, I ain't hear from her.
No, but see, you got to realize it's still a 20% hood people, right?
Right.
We don't even realize, but most of the time when we talk about women on these podcasts, we're talking about a 20% of hood, and then now the 80% might be influenced by that 20%, but we're talking about a small percentage of people that, because we're in America, they have influence, because the whole world look at black community in the face of Lil Baby, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. So now, I mean, that's what they're gonna try to duplicate. They're gonna try to duplicate the 20%. Megan Thee Stallion, even though she's not in the lower 20% anymore, her attitude replicates what we see in the projects.
Yeah. Actually, it influenced a lot of these chicks. Even these chicks that ain't even a project, she influenced everything that's happening outside of it. The Glorillas.
Yeah, and that's so. But no, this was actually a good video. I was just listening, and I saw that chick head. I said, yeah, that shit. Hey, I said, I know she was going. I know she was finna say something like, "Well, I got a PPE loan, and I was trying to start my own business." I knew she was finna say
She
something. But that
probably
old,
did do that. She can't say that on camera though.
but you know what she ended up doing? She was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get unemployment," and she tried to turn it into a race thing. You see, I don't know why I didn't get unemployment. Man, you don't know why. Man, stop.
Everybody know why you don't get unemployment. It ain't no secret, dude. We know what it is. Oh my God, bro. But
Your ass probably get unemployment because you probably working there for just 3 months. You didn't qualify.
I think she got fired, bro. She got fired. Real talk.
Oh, no,
That black chick, bro. I'm going, but
no.
I think the first place that I'm gonna hit though, the first place that I'm gonna hit post pandemic, internationally, I'm gonna go to Tokyo. I don't really care about Dubai like that because it's just like it'll be there. It ain't going nowhere. But I'm gonna hit Tokyo, and then I'm gonna hit Paris, and then I'm gonna probably hit over somewhere like Morocco or something like that. So,
But see, all you got to do is go to somewhere in Europe. You can hit a train for like maybe €1,000, and it'll take you to 10 cities in 10 days. Well, no, I'm sorry, 10 countries in 10 days. So you know what I'm saying? You can.
but I want to live there though. Like I want to live there for like 3 months, 3 or 4 months, and then you know what I'm saying, and then move over into the next thing. Like I want to immerse myself culturally and see what the life is really like, not just from a tourist perspective, but how the locals is living and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the goal. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, go somewhere. Go somewhere that don't go nowhere that'll have you out there. You know what I'm saying, by yourself. Go somewhere that got a strong American presence, not the nigga American presence though. But you know what I'm saying. Like I said, niggas don't normally go to the UK because you know what I'm saying it's too expensive. But anywhere you'll be, but just make sure you got somewhere that is at least some Navy ships out there. So if something happens, you know what I'm saying, you go run out there and jump on a Navy ship. So you know what I'm saying. Go somewhere like Spain, Italy, Germany. Yeah, because it's still crazy over there. I mean, don't get it twisted.
Is it really?
Yeah, man. Nigga, that's like a 1,000 miles away from Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? 2,000 miles away from Ukraine. I mean, it's still kind of jacked up. There's a lot of stuff going on over there politically.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, so don't catch yourself all fucked up out there in Poland or somewhere like that. And you know that's like on a damn door to Ukraine. So yeah,
My
you don't
man's
want
is
to be out
over
there like
in Poland right now. He he in the National Guard though. So
yeah, you can figure it out though. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, but I ain't gonna say it's a lot of opportunities. I just know it's different. I never officially lived out there, but I got blown up when I was in the Army, and they take us to the Air Force base. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You go to your McDonald's out there, they got to use fresh food. They got to use fresh produce, so they don't use all that stuff we use there. So when they're actually cooking a Big Mac, your Big Mac is made from, you know what I'm saying, fresh beef. You get a chicken sandwich, it's actually made from real chicken. You know what I'm saying? So everything they use, they laws pretty much don't allow them to use them GMO foods. So everything that they cook, it tastes good because it's real.
Yeah. I might have to go ahead and check that out. I got to do some research now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just had to come chop it up with you. You know what I'm saying? I
Appreciate
hit
you,
you
bro.
up when I get abroad. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they gonna be mad because I'm finna have a fat booty German.
When you going?
You said when?
Yeah, when you going through?
Yeah, I fly out on the 5th of March.
Damn.
Yeah.
You gonna be there for a while?
You know, I'm taking one day at a time. You know what I'm saying? At least a year. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well then I'm coming through.
Yeah, if I play out right, that year might turn into 2. It might turn
I'm
into
coming
3.
through then. Listen, I'm coming.
Yeah,
through.
pull up. You know what I'm saying? We can get on the train and pull up on Just Pearl.
You
know
know,
what I'm saying?
you know I'm pulling up. You know I'm pulling up.
Hey, we might need security to go to her hood. She be hanging around the ratchets. I saw that clip. If them hoes would have did me like that in person, it would have turned into WWE in that bitch. I would have been suplexing them hoes, DDTing them hoes. Nigga, hey, you think that passport bro got kicked out of fucking goddamn Brazil? My ass be out of London. Them hoes will leave that bitch with knots on their head and all kind of shit. And I dare one of them niggas to say anything. They asked to get DDT too.
Dog, I'm coming through. That's a bet. I'm coming through.
All right, be easy, man.
All right,
I'll be
Logic. Logic crazy. Let me read y'all super chat, see what y'all talking about. You know, I got a shout out to my people. Mel Duke is in the building with the $4.99. Said my brother is in Europe and gas is $49 a liter. For the math, and that's 4 liters a gallon. $49 a liter. That's what, $20. That's $20. That's almost $20, Mel Duke. Shout out to you for the insight and information. Q says, you did Houston wrong last time. We can hit Dallas. Join the Patreon so y'all can vote where we can meet up next. I'm going to drop the poll in there tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to drop the poll during the show. During the Q&A show that we do tonight, I'm going to drop the poll of where we supposed to do next in the Patreon. So y'all can vote where we meet up next. But we need an international trip this year, Anton and Rita. I don't know, Q, because I'm trying to figure out. I could either try to do the international trip or I could do the Patreon retreat. I don't know. I don't think we're going to be able to do both, though. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. Shout out to Q. Ben Jefferson says, shout out to AD. Thank you for pushing us to be more of what we should be. Thank you, Ben Jefferson, for rocking with me. Thank you for doing the work. A lot of people will ask me a lot of times, and they say, Anton, how can I be the best version, or how can I add value into you, Anton? And I say the best way for y'all to add value into me is by first becoming the best version of yourself first. And then once you become great and then I'm great, then we come together and then we can do some phenomenal things. But I need you to be all the way what y'all need to be first. So make sure y'all do that work. Shout out to Ben Jefferson. I appreciate you. Mr. Maximus says, shout out to the Great Depression. Bring on all the layoffs and foreclosure. This weak generation need to feel the lyrics of good times. Good times. Shout out to Mr. Maximus. I appreciate you for holding me down. Q says, how much to kick Logic off the stream? Nothing. We love Logic, Q. You better not be being bad. You better not be being bad. What hood is length of Logic nails? Cut them. Q is so petty. Logic is going to be all. You know Logic going to go live with you on Instagram and he going to be going off on you, Q. Shout out to Brand. Brand says, it's hard to get, but if you work for an international company, you get in rotation and live abroad, tax and rent free. but you need to be skilled, and usually by that time you got kids and roots, which is one of the reasons why I'm saying and I'm anticipating I'm trying to plan it more effectively as far as me and Rita. Because you got to take in it because I got a 15-year-old, right? And so we working it out, we figuring that out. We take her into consideration first on everything that we do, so we can make sure we add value. I'm gonna come to you, JT of the Bag Chasers. I'm coming to you last. Brand also says, Anton, I lived and worked in the EU or in Europe. UK is the best. Everyone speaks English, and you can catch an easy flight into Europe on weekends. Do I need to learn different languages before I go over into these countries? Because I'm more than willing to do so. I love learning different languages, and I love deep diving into things that I don't already know. Bella said, I'm going to Tokyo this summer. Let's link. Let's link then, Bella. I'm going to be in Tokyo. I don't know when I'm going to Tokyo, but I'm definitely going to be in Tokyo. And I'm taking that Delta One flight because I'm going to be laying all the way down while I'm doing it. Let's link then, Bella. All right, bet. Jeremy Covington says, Nomad Capitalist just dropped a video about Portugal's golden visa. Let me take a picture of that so I can do a live stream about that later. Whenever I want to remember something, I take a picture of it. I don't necessarily always write it in the notes. I take a picture of it and then I come back to it. So I'm going to check that out. I might have to review that video on Wednesday. Shout out to my dog, Jeremy Covington. I appreciate you. Andre Lewis says, Logic a fool. I miss him on the platform. God bless. You never know. I might put something in the works between me, Logic, and Q and have us all be doing something. You don't know what I got and what I'm thinking about in my mind. Shout out to you. JT of the Bag Chasers. Shout out to my Patreon members. Links is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat for y'all to be able to tap into the Bag Chasers. If you have not booked the coaching session and you need to get in touch with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. And we're going to make sure we get you set up. All right. JT of the Bag Chaser says, Anton, what up, though? Birthday love to Rita and Les Bag Chasers in Dallas is definitely the move. I love Dallas. Let me tell y'all something. When I'm in Dallas, I always have to get a rooftop view. No matter where I stay in Dallas, I'm always on top of the rooftop. Shout out to Dallas. And, I'll be linking up with my dog, Charleston White, out in Dallas, so it's a little different. 100 ball. He said, yo, we in the building. Shout out to Rita. Shout out to Les. Happy birthday. We love you. We appreciate you, JT of the Bag Chaser. Shout out to all of my Bag Chasers that's in the building. And then make sure y'all get y'all Alpha Juice Company. And do not order it without first putting in a discount code for the Alpha Juice Company. JT of the Bag Chasers. Me, Rita, and Les, our whole family, we appreciate you. Thank you for holding us down, big dog. Also, Steez Overseas says the tax benefits for working outside the U.S. are amazing. The first $112,000 if you're single, $224,000. One of the benefits of being married. Are federally tax-free. State taxes vary. Really? Seriously? Got me thinking about some things now. I might have to do a little bit of research. Thank you, Steez from Overseas. Steez Overseas is in the building. I appreciate you. Again, thank you to the Alpha Juice Company for tapping in, holding us down. We gonna pivot tomorrow. I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. I'm coming to your super chat in a minute, Coney. We gonna do it a little bit differently tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So let me give y'all the skinny. I'm not going to not live stream. I'm anticipating. I'm gonna live stream earlier. So I usually live stream somewhere between 11:30 and 12 o'clock. However, I'm strongly considering live streaming between 8 and 8:30 Eastern tomorrow, just for one day. And the reason why I'm doing that is because one of the benefits or the downfalls of being in an Airbnb, see, we Platinum Elite, or are we Titanium Elite? I need to pull that up. We're Titanium Elite with Marriott. Let me pull this up. So we was Platinum. We was Titanium Elite. I'm a log in. I'm pretty sure we Titanium Elite. Which means that we always get a late checkout, a 4 p.m. checkout. However, with an Airbnb, if anybody has ever stayed in an Airbnb, you know that checkout is always 10 o'clock. That's one of the things I hate about Airbnbs. No, I don't want that. Let me see. Oh, my password ain't working. Did I enter in the right password? The service is temporarily unavailable, but don't worry. All right. Anyways, so yeah, that's one of the downfalls of not staying at a hotel is that, or not staying at a Marriott property is that I don't get the benefits of being a Titanium Elite member. But anyways, either way, we good. Adamantium Elite. Y'all insane. Let's see what else y'all talking about. KONNY says, have you thought of an interview with Jaguar Wright? If y'all want me to get Jaguar Wright, I'll reach out to her and see what's popping. I actually talked to Charleston about what he thought about her, and so that might be a thing. Y'all the ones that suggested that I even get Charleston on the platform, and now we the best of freaking friends, and we talk on the phone on a regular basis. So I'll consider it. I'll check it out. I got to see what she's talking about. I got to see, because I need to know what I need to ask her from a question perspective of why it would even make sense for me to do it. Q the exec says, I live in NYC and work for a French insurance company. They require us in the office at least 50% now. I do 3 in the office and 2 at home, casualty insurance. Everybody is requesting that everybody come back into the office, Q. Everybody is requesting. I'm telling y'all, that work from home stuff is over. For most people working from home, it is absolutely over. Preston Walker says, good morning, Anton. I have a perfect spot for the Bag Chasers retreat. Has lots of space, great location. Idaho Bag Chasers in the building. Now, one thing about the Patreon retreat, though, Idaho Bag Chasers, is that Q said that it got to be on the beach. Q said that we got to be on the beach, and we got to be able to do that. So keep that in mind. We might just have to have a meeting of all of the minds inside of the Patreon for us to just go over a lot of the different housekeeping of what y'all want to do. International trips, next place that y'all want to meet at, Patreon retreat. What do y'all want to talk about on the next mastermind / webinar? All that stuff. Q says she the only Q you need to change your name. All right, listen. Thank y'all to everybody that held us down. Again, happy birthday to my ladies, Rita and Leslie. Birthdays is back to back. A lot of people don't know that. That night, me and Rita we celebrated Rita's birthday. And then it was about 9-10 o'clock at night, and we was getting home from the party celebration, and she was like, honey, I think I broke my water. And I was like, oh, man. And so she went into labor. She had a natural birth. She did not have a C-section. And that was the one baby that we said that we wanted, and we just wrapped it up from there. So just a little insight for y'all. But listen, I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. I do plan on live streaming tomorrow morning a little bit earlier. So for those of y'all that catch it, I feel you. If you don't catch it early in the morning because you wake up later or you in your commute or whatever, just catch the replay and we'll go from there. But I think it's more effective for me to actually live stream it than to pre-record it, because I actually feed off of y'all energy and I feed off the energy of the people. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Again, thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. Thank y'all for tapping in. We're going to do a regular show tomorrow. We're just going to do it much earlier. Probably start at the 8 o'clock Eastern time zone, the 8 o'clock hour. We will be live streaming in the morning, so make sure y'all tap in. Make sure y'all tap in for Q&A tonight. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. But you know what I got to do. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves, so I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I need y'all to continue to tap in and rock out. Thank you for being a participant in the Millionaire Morning Show. If you have not already, please hit a like on your way out the door. Tap into the Patreon. Get your Alpha Juice Company. and then hold us down on Q&A tonight. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.